But this goes to show they probably did get really high tables, maybe undefeated players. And
Oh,
Kaiser,
and you know
okay,
what? I'm not unhappy with this because that's a matchup we didn't see much, I think.
I agree.
Um, and those are two of the most represented legends. And actually, um, those are two of the really few legends that already won an official tournament.
Yeah, two of only three legends to ever win a regional over in China. Kaiser being the queen of that season one, and then Draven taking a big step forward as early as the regional one in Fuzhou and Chengdu. So this is gonna be good clash, right? Clash of the Kings, Clash of the
Yeah,
Titans. Who's
the
gonna
the
be moving
symbol,
forward?
yeah, the symbolism of this game is insane.
Yes.
Let's see, guy, how heavy is the crown?
Yeah, who's gonna wear the crown a bit better? Draven versus Kaiser. Kaiser just coming off the back of a really awesome win against Ezreal in the grand finals last weekend. So let's see if they kind of figured out the meta. Does Kaiser with a bit more removal and a bit less mechs feel better than the Kaisers earlier on in the Spiritforged meta? Because if they don't have any mechs, it kind of shows maybe that's a good adjustment. And the
Oh,
Yordle,
that's kind of like to see. It's been so long. Hi, my friend.
a Rengar, look at that.
Yeah, it seems that this case has more than one trick up her sleeve.
Yeah, no one would expect a Rengar. That's how you say it, Rengar?
Yeah, Rengar, yeah.
Rengar. Yeah, no one would expect that card anywhere close to Kaiser's vicinity. So I like the spicy tech. I'm willing to bet there's probably a bit more spice where that came from. And it's a good card. Oh, but I am seeing a forecaster. That is a mech. So perhaps is dipping her toes a bit in that mech
Yeah.
package. I guess we're going to be finding out super soon as we get this final round 7 started.
Oh, and 402. So uh if it is draw, they're playing their qualification on this game.
Yeah, I believe they're showing us a win and in match. So both of these players on the cusp of getting into top cut, they need a win here, and the forecaster does come down. So we haven't seen a Mech Kaiser in some time. Hopefully, she could show us that it's still strong against Draven, because I know a lot of people have been saying that the newer build feels stronger because you just need that much more removal to deal with everything that Draven kind of dishes out. But let's see, because both of these players are right there and getting into top cut. Let's see if he does have the cards, because perhaps it's a bit of a mixture. Some mech and then a bit of removal like we saw from the previous regional.
Yeah. And you know that Tag on Pink right now can do wonders for Kesa because yeah, he can just develop. And okay, I was like, he can conquer and still have some runes ready, but apparently he cannot defend against Draven right now. And we already saw that like good players tend to not over conquer against Draven, to not give him that many draws.
Yeah, well said. It looks like you just have to adapt your playstyle to the old way of thinking. You have to always take into account, can Draven get an easy conquer? AKA, are you giving Draven an easy draw? So goes ahead, pushes the fan, gets the first point of this round 7. And do they want to go ahead and establish that chosen champion as we've seen before? But it looks like the good 1-2 punch into a Noxus Hopeful. Treasure Hunter and a Hopeful feels good. And Targon Peaks rating 2 runes so that you have 3 available on your opponent's side.
Yeah. So the Yordle still developing some board, and the Noxus Hopeful, yeah, instantly going to be played.
Yeah, a little bit of a little bit of the same play, a 3-drop into a 2-drop, just trying to full max use those runes as they keep on curving out the best they can. But Kaiser building a stronger board at the very moment and has the option to push on forward, wants to guarantee the card draw, pushing into Zone Warrens. And then Forecaster could trade, or could at the very least offer up a trade, because either you use the overzealous, you either use the overzealous ability or you just take a 1-for-1 trade, and it looks like not giving any free draws on both sides of the on the field.
Yep. But I think you're pretty happy with that for Kaisa. You're developing a really strong board, and your opponent is using resources. And looking at the state of the game, yeah, it's not easy to be 3 points behind, but nothing too scary right now.
Right, you are a little bit behind, as you mentioned, in that points department. But in terms of battlefield, or I should say board presence, Kai's not behind. If anything, she's slightly ahead. But of course, now that Draven hits the board, on top of that, a secondary Nox is hopeful. Things are looking rather up for Draven. Even if Kaiser wants to go ahead and push onto these battlefields, she might not have what she needs to necessarily defend the battlefields, and
Ooh.
that's exactly what Draven would hope for. But I see that's a big hit off the top, isn't it?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when it comes for you?
That is right, and the singularity is coming straight at the dome. The Draven falls, the hopeful number 2 falls. That is how you dwindle those numbers down. And now Kai'Sa, who needs to defend when you can just clear the units outright? You know, Treasure Hunter looks to be not too long for this world. Just push up Kai'Sa for one of these, and one energy isn't going to be doing too much on Draven. Draven's sweet spot is 2 energy, of course.
Yeah. That's a good draw. That's a good draw for next turn. I think I would like to see Yordle coming up to back up Kaisa and add that little to my tank protector from some shenanigans.
Uses a oh no, it doesn't use a stupefy. Stupefy was the pitch for Zon Warrens. Picks up a forecaster. Yeah. And no, he has a retreat. So playing it proactively, he could have played it a bit on the defense, but didn't want to start a combat. So just playing it in the world without starting a showdown combat for the likes of Draven. Because if you push in first and then react to it as a reaction to the showdown, that's still a free draw. So I like what he had to do there.
Yeah, me too. I like these safe lines where it's like, I'm going to get some rune advantage. I'm going to get some card advantage. And in the late game, I will own you.
Oh, yeah. And it looks like he's setting that up, but has to try to, he's skating on thin ice here because he is behind on points as the Overzealous goes to Targon's Peak, getting that 4th point. But you feel decent. I think if we take a look at Kai'Sa's hand here very shortly, I would imagine he has decent spells. If he has something like Fallen Star, doesn't feel all that bad, but a tricky card for Kai'Sa to deal with. It will be that Fair's Forerunner. Perhaps another singularity wouldn't be all that bad, but let's see if they run more than 1 in the main board. At least 2, I would hope so.
Yeah, I think so. Singularity got much better this set because of a lot of 4 or 5 might cards appearing.
And Lyra, we're speculating a bit of a mix between this new Kai'Sa that just, and I say new, but it's very similar to the set 1 Kai'Sa, but the Kai'Sa that just won in the last weekend, and then the mech Kai'Sa we saw before that. It looks to be a little bit of a mix of those two put together. So bringing the best of both of those decks into one. Let's see how successful it is, because so far so good. And I think, oh no, I thought that was a singularity. It looks to be a Void Seeker at the top of the hand currently.
Yeah. There's a Void Seeker which is going to be played so that, again, no combat means no draw for you.
Right.
And that's another Void Seeker, which I think you like to see. Darius will be played. Is he going to conquer anything? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so.
Wow, playing a bit of a risky game if he leaves everything in the back, because you are behind. Draven goes up to 6. That is not a spot you want to be against any Draven whatsoever. You have the board control, you have good cards in hand, but at one point or the other, Draven could just sit back, keep on establishing even a stronger board presence, and then on that final push up to 8, he can drop something like a Brynir Thundersong. So this is very risky to do, as he's, oh man, he just passes the turn. Doesn't he want to conquer up to 2? At least 2 is just one draw. You got to put points on the board eventually, no?
He's got his game plan, and it's like, until the last month, I won't be able to draw from the legend ability.
Yeah, let's
And
see how much dividends it pays to be so patient, because he's definitely playing against Draven, and he's definitely played a bunch of Dravens today, being at those higher number tables. But just 3 cards in hand, it looks like Draven is definitely feeling the pain from the way Kaiser's playing currently.
wait, is it just me? There are
Is the
some.
mic a little bit funky?
Yeah, when you went R2D2 mode, but I don't know if that was only for me or for chat too. I think
I
it was
think it
only for
got
me
better
because the ones
now.
yeah, it got better now.
Yeah, you're all the way in France, we're all the way in the US, so probably some weird Discord connection going on, but everything's good to
Yeah.
go now as Kaiser pushes forward, being accelerated up to 5, and I would only imagine the hopeful going up to Zon Warrens to push up to 6, and then you could just let Kaiser push these battlefields for the next 2 turns, and you still don't have to worry about this. I am liking Draven's position. I understand Kaiser feels in control, but you never would really necessarily want to give him that 6 point unless you have that much more removal. And I guess they could, because I'm seeing a watcher, if they have something like the Bellows Breath we saw in these previous rounds, that could do some big work.
Yeah. Um, Although maybe you want to concur with the Forerunner so that you can have 3 units next turn instead of just the one.
Right. Either or, the biggest idea there is that you do go up to that critical 6 point. Does he want to push? And it looks to be, I was going to say another Forest Fair Runner, but it will be that Draven, and he doesn't want to go to 6. Interesting enough, Leroy, are we missing something? Do these players not want to get to that perfect even threshold to push in and close the game? Maybe Draven's playing patiently because now Kai's the one being patient, so he's saying, I
Yeah,
still have a
maybe
lot of
it's like,
turns left.
I'm not going to overcommit because you've got, I don't want to instantly die from your Watcher. But right now I see a really good Void Seeker on that Kaisa that will have him reveal what's the card.
Yeah, it could be something like a switcheroo. The obvious ideal target for Draven would be something like a fight or flight, allowing her to dodge the damage coming out from Void Seeker, as it does specify battlefield, of course. So let's see what XXT has in mind, because he does have the Void Seeker on the forefront of that hand, which is usually a bit of an indication that that's the card they're going to be playing next. So asking his opponent, how much runes or how much cards do you have in hand? And the answer is 1. I think the game plan is working, Leroy. To bring the Draven's hand down to almost 0 cards is the idea for Kaiser, and then just kind of control the game with your spells from there.
Yep, and so the Void Seeker just as planned. Kaisa is at 11 runes, so doing good on that side. The thing is now your opponent has quite a big board himself, and that's the situation that you didn't want to get in. You wanted to be able to have removed enough might so that your board would be much, much stronger than his. And the fact that it chose to not conquer last turn made him in a quite good spot, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a tricky position to be in for the Kaiser, because now what do, right? You want to probably put some points on the board. Eventually, you're only sitting at 1 point. You want to push up with maybe double Forecaster, but then you're not going to be really protecting those units very well with 2 remaining runes. You need something more like a Hex Tech Ray into a smoke screen, or at least a couple stupefies. You have 3, but it looks like you're completely tapping out. Don't tell me, Leroy, is he not going to conquer any battlefield again?
Bro, the aim of the game is to score point. No, I know what he's doing, guys. I'm just miming, but that's crazy.
It looks to me he's just going to sit back one more time, because he's really playing the game plan. Don't give Draven any cards whatsoever. But like you said, there's only one way to win, and you have to get it 8 points. There's no other win condition currently. If you could score points in the base, yeah, that's another thing. But look at that. Leroy just goes ahead and sits back, to be honest, I don't think this game plan is going to be paying quite well for him going forward, but I hope he proves me completely wrong. Maybe I'm missing the
I
mark on
want
this.
I want to see some analysis of this game by some really good. I want to see this game on Alan ZQ channel. I
Hmm.
want to know if this is a decent player or if he's completely out of his mind.
Well, I mean, I see the logic. There's a method to the madness,
Yeah,
of course, but it just
yeah, yeah.
doesn't seem at this moment in the game. I mean, if we think about the other side of the coin, right? If he did push in, he scored to at least one, he goes to two. That's just one more draw. Draven's gonna draw regardless. I mean, what does he want to do? Do you think his opponent's just gonna overextend and give up every unit? You're at 7 points. He doesn't have to push up the battlefield. So I think he's hoping his opponent not misplays, but gives them a bit of window of opportunity, which I don't think this Draven player is going to really give them that easily.
Yeah, and still at Gaza. Oh, and the Mind Splitter. Bye bye, Watcher.
This is over. There's just too much of a point disparity. 7 to
Oh, but the
1.
single item. Oh, so you got two good options.
Yeah, and I think, is that a sentry or a smoke screen? So, okay. Taking out the singularity, doesn't want to get dealt with from another one, as he displayed that earlier on this game. But without the singularity, without a bellows breath with the watcher combo, things are not looking good. As we said before, you need to score eventually, and in this very position, you're only going up to 3 points. Even if Draven did nothing for 2 more turns, you only go up to 7 points, and then Draven has that final push to make with all these units on top of the units they're able to establish in the next 2 turns. So this is
Oh, and he
tricky.
forgot to ready some runes, which tells that he doesn't have anything to play. And now, how do you deal with that? I feel like you gotta stack up a lot of units on one battlefield. And yeah, okay, he's going to probably play 2 cards, ready Darius, have him back, and then stack up on Targon. Was
Okay,
that
not a
a
bad
time warp?
hit, but it looks to me he's going for the time warp play. Wait a second. He has 2,
Yeah,
4,
yeah, yeah,
6,
yeah, yeah.
8, 10, 12 full, fresh runes available for this turn. Time warp into a top deck time warp? That brings you to 5. That brings you to 6, 7. No, that's still not enough.
No, but that would leave him in a much better position than what he is right now.
I
You
guess
gotta play that
so,
time
but
warp.
you go 4-5, and then you hold for another one if you do top deck another time warp. I just don't see it. I don't see it in a world where Kaiser ends up taking this away from this Draven. I think you had to try to push the pace slightly earlier, but I agree with you, Leroy. I would like to see a professional player analyze this game, but from my perspective, it just didn't seem too fruitful to leave the battlefields completely open every single turn. I understand early on, I understand somewhere in the middle, but all the way in the end game where Draven is just creeping up on those points, you have to try to contest them eventually. But let's see, step 1 is use the time warp.
Yeah, and you still have some runes to potentially do something. Yeah.
There we go. Goes for the
And the
falling
Forerunner.
stars. And wait a minute. A
Oh,
watcher into Bellows Breath still doesn't get the job done, though. Because he doesn't even have the
no, but
runes for that.
yeah. Uh, yeah, he
Two,
does. He does.
2, 4,
Exactly.
6, 2, 4. Wait, I can't.
Exactly.
2, 4, 6, 8.
He's at 9.
Yeah, he definitely does. So Watcher into a repeated Bellows Breath. Watcher brings everything down by 3. Wait a second, Leroy. Is he clearing 3 things from this board? He still has to be very careful, though. Wait a second. If he's able to hold for victory, imagine that Watcher into Bellows Breath. Is there a world where
Okay,
Kaiser can
okay,
hold
okay.
down?
He can have it like one on Darius, one on Oh, we can clear everything but the Mind Splitter. That's crazy.
Very true. Everything's at 1 right now. So you could just leave everything. I mean, you could take everything to the trash besides a simple mind splitter. That's going to be impressive to do. So targeting everything. But actually, Darius goes
Let's
down to
go.
2.
He knew from the beginning that he would have the perfect line. He knew everything. See,
Yeah.
that's what we didn't know. He knows better. He's
Oh
much
yeah,
better
he
than us.
definitely does. Cause how is a mind splitter gonna be conquering both battlefields? This might have just been the most impressive performance against a Draven. You would never imagine 7-1. And look at what we're discussing right here, right now. Stacking a plethora of units onto both of these battlefields, splitting the might perfectly so that a mind splitter can't even get over 1. Nonetheless, both of these Leroy, I'm gonna have to take everything back of what I said. This Kaiser is playing out of his
And now
mind.
his gameplay from the beginning is working because Draven does not have anything to play.
Yeah. Didn't give him a single draw this game. XXT has piloted this matchup the best you can as he completely uses his last 2 cards, a Tide Turner into a Noxus Hopeful, as he goes up to 7 points. What is he going to draw? If he draws another kill spell, imagine he picks up a Singularity, the 3rd one if he ends up drawing it. That would be completely devastating for Draven. But at the minimum, if you have something like a Hex Tech Ray, a Stupefy, a Progress Day to get you more resources, feeling good. A Retreat into Watcher feels okay, but you don't really have a kill spell to really maximize that.
So I feel like it's going to be progress day and trying to have just enough to. Okay, my bad. Sorry. I was like just enough to activate the 2 Dariuses, but yeah, sure. Seems good enough. I don't feel like he can lose both battlefields.
Wow, this has been an incredible turn of events. You would never think we found ourselves in this position from 7-1 to a neck and neck 7-7. I say neck to neck, but there is a clear person in the driver's seat, a clear legend holding down both of those battlefields and on the cuffs of winning this game number 1 of this round number 7. Well done. I don't see a world, no matter what this top deck was, it would take an enormous Herculean effort to do anything. It looks like a spinning axe to do 10, but there's a couple more cards than just 10, I would imagine,
Oh
on that
wait, the
battlefield.
spinning X was the best card that he could draw.
True.
But wait, is that ever enough?
I wouldn't think for both, right?
The Mind Splitter dies. It's not a GA.
He did it the other way around. He's rattled a little bit.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have enough for both battlefields. All right, GG.
GG. One of these battlefields does get held as he attaches it to the Noxus Hopeful. He's just trying to get those mini victories. He says, where did I go wrong? And Kaiser's saying just the simple fact that you didn't draw is where I went right and things went wrong for you. So well done. Executed the game plan as perfect as possible. You know, I didn't know he had the Watcher's repeated bellow breath in hand. We saw the Watcher, but I couldn't really think about the whole play line of eliminating, what was that, like 5 units on the board?
Why is he drawing 2? He shouldn't draw 2 because the draw from the Conquer goes first. So
Yeah, that's a little bit of a
no,
intricacies.
draw from Draven. Draw from
Oh,
Draven.
right.
We forgot that he draws because he didn't draw a single card from the game.
We even forgot what the legend ability did because he hasn't shown that legend ability this entire game 1. Is there anything in a Darius could be close to there, but just taking a look at the bigger picture, there's just one too much might on that Targon's Peak. There's a Darius, there's a Watcher, there's a Yordle, and a Ravenbloom that with the spell should be at 3 because of that retreat. So we're talking about 12 plus 5, 17 total might on the current battlefield. And if Kaiser plays one more, that's one more for Ravensbloom, and Darius goes up to 7. So up to 19 total might is what he's going to be defending with.
He doesn't have one more because his last card is Progress Day.
Right. Wow, this guy has an athlete shirt. Definitely displayed the mind of a pure card game, digital, not digital card game, but a pure TCG athlete. Really well done. And I've never seen anything like this. I really thought he had to push the pace earlier, but it looks like he's been here plenty of times before. Didn't let the heat of the moment get the better of him and understood his game plan and followed it perfectly, I want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Great, great everything from this guy.
And just to have those moral victories, is there another spinning axe?
Oh,
Oh, against all odds. Wait a second,
oh wait, the
Leroy.
comeback?
That is unbelievable. +2 might for every single thing on that battlefield. If there's any moment to try to bring this back in your way, that's +2, 4, 6, 8. Wait a second. 7 + 2 is 9 plus the 8. What is the quick math there? 17. Wait. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
17
17
total
217.
might.
That's a trade, right? Everything dies. And he's got
Wow.
Darius. He's got Darius in hand, which is exactly 7. So there is a world where there's nothing on the battlefield at the end of um, Kesa's turn.
That is the perfect top deck for the Draven. Who would imagine an against all odds to get the job done? Darius, though, comes down, but it's just going to be a trade 1-for-1 unless there's something like a Stupefy coming down. So Darius plus the Progress Day, enabling Darius to get readied,
Super
but you
fight.
need
Super
a
fight.
spell.
No! He drew 2 smoke screen though, so
Yeah,
he
2
can't
smoke
use them
screens,
right now.
but has 1 energy. So this is going to be trading 7-7.
What's happening in this game?
This game has been an
Oh,
absolute blockbuster, completely unexpected. A lot of people in chat were saying like terrible stream games. I can't believe they've been so bad, but it has turned out to be one of the best ones this entire day one of Swiss. I can't believe what we're witnessing. These guys are going down to the bitter
just a
end.
picture.
Watcher and smoke
Do
screens
you
get the
accelerate?
job done, I'm pretty sure.
You don't. Yeah, but you don't accelerate it because maybe you want to keep it for next turn in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, 2 units here. Watcher into a Noxus Hopeful, and then you have your Singularity and Smoke Screens to close out the game. I think you just established board here. Oh, goes for the accelerated line. Value's getting a single draw because you have enough runes to do a double Smoke
Okay, but
Screen
there's
on the defense.
dragon, so you will have more room to work with. I forgot about that part. You still have 2. I think it's got 2 smoke screen to
I think he
work with
wins.
next.
He wins. That's a double
Yeah,
smoke screen in hand, and there's 2 blues available. It looks like he's targeting Targon's Peak to make that 6 and drawing the 3rd smoke screen. It is as good as over. I've never seen a world where Draven takes it down, even with a top deck of Falling Star. You need, yeah.
but we say that once and it is. So I'm careful. I'm careful now.
You're so right. We have been here before, but this one is for sure a little bit different. How much crazy luck can this Draven had? He top decked the spinning axe to get over one of them. He top decked the against all odds. He top decks the accelerated Kaiser. But is that final card anything he can make use of?
1 from the Conquered and 1 from the Kaysad and discard 1 and draw 1. And he needs something.
There's a ride the wind spinning axe. Wait a minute.
He's got the spinning axe. That's not enough yet.
Isn't that with all the smoke screens? It's definitely not enough. That's -12 coming down.
Yeah, no, that's GG.
Yeah, it's 100% GG just based off everything in the current hand for Draven and Kaiser doing the unthinkable, unprecedented comeback. We've never seen anything of the like.
Yeah, no, not with the smoke screen. Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. And we had some 2 great top decks because one of the Below Breath and then one with the spinning axe into the against all odds. Yeah, there were some crazy top decks here that made this game amazing to watch.
And look at that. We were wondering, is he going to top deck into something like a Falling Stars? In the world where he doesn't have the smoke screen, these are potential winning lines. A spinning axe with a ride the wind is actually perfectly enough to get over this fox. But in this situation, smoke screens are going to be flying out. At least 2 of them, -8 total might, almost
Funny
putting her
enough,
in effective negative territory. And that is GG, folks. Can you believe it? Kaiser with the single point when Draven was at 7 is the one we're saying is the victor for game 1. Unreal. Yeah, maybe he tried to appeal something against the judges, but it looks like Reaver's Row and another Targon's Peak to send us into this game number 2. I know Draven on the play feeling rather good, so most likely saving that Obelisk of Power for when he's going to be on the draw, of course. But hopefully they make a statement. Actually, that break wasn't crazy long, but definitely a little bit longer, which has me thinking that something might have just gone down. Perhaps if you can read the Chinese chat, they would probably let us know.
yeah. How about I'm thinking like, as Kaisa, you're quite in a good spot, letting player be on the Draven player be on the play when he's on Obelisk of Power, because now you're the one who gets to play Kaisa turn 1.
Right. Yeah, you are the one that gets your chosen champion online first. But this is it. Can Kaze close things out? They ate a whole lot of time in the round, especially in that break there, unless they stop the time. But most often than not, they do not stop the time. So 27 minutes remaining as we enter this game number 2. And Draven will be on the play as he did receive that loss and that game 1. So developing out a nice little treasure hunter to start things off. Do we get the nice little Yordle? It looks like Ravenbloom, very, very similar to the original Kaisers of set 1.
Yeah. Let's see.
You know what's going to be interesting to see is Kaiser going to approach it in the very same way they approached it in game number 1, where they really try to withhold any kind of combats just to make Draven suffer for card advantage, and at the very end have him pretty much deprive and top decking. Granted, he top decked very well, but that is not a position Draven tends to like, of course, so does get the champion of her own. But we're seeing a very similar game plan. Draven going quickly up on those points. Let's see if they're able to just continue on the pace, because Reaver's Row is an excellent battlefield for that Draven champ.
Exactly. And I think Kaisa does not like her draw, as she drew 2 progress today. And yeah, you never want to have 2 of these right at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, those are definitely your late game hits, right? You saw how well it was picking up the 2 smoke screens, but Draven doing what he was doing all along, just building up a board. Now, it is in the realm of something like a singularity. If he has it off the top of the deck, he does end up picking it up. Funny enough, I smelled one come in. Do you play now? Oh, taking a turn off to draw an impressive 4 cards, but that's going to be coming at a cost of Draven going up to 5. This is getting awfully scary like it was in game number 1.
Yeah. But I mean, we know our Kaisa. She's chilling. She's chilling with the. She doesn't have the lead, but still has the lead. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
You're always mentally ahead. You're always mentally ahead of your opponent, of course, or have the upper hand. But sometimes the plays don't go the way you wanted, of course. But he does have the Bellows Breath. Funny enough, though, if Draven now has wind of the game plan, he could kind of separate his units, not leave everything exposed in the base. Because a big thing to note about Bellows Breath, it says at the same location. So if you have some units on a battlefield, some units on the other one, and then some units on the base, you kind of build your board presence, but choose where you want to place them so that Bellows Breath can't completely, ruin your game plan. But it is tricky now, because now you're trying to defend these battlefields. So it could be a little bit of a benefit for Kaiser as well.
Yeah, it looks like Kaisa already drew her whole deck. Oh, and the Mind Splitter.
And the Bellows Breath, the combo they did not want to see, as well as the angle shot. We don't get to see it too often. More often than not, we see it in those Draven builds, in the Draven mirror matches. But angle shot seems to be quite a good sideboard selection, as we did see those spinning acts do what they always do and add an impressive amount of might throughout the game. And okay, it looks like he
And
learned his
this
lesson
time,
from game one, right?
fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I don't want to see any Watcher.
Oh yeah, get the Watcher out of here. No more Watcher for the remaining of the game. So the Bellows Breath just isn't going to be as impactful as it was in the previous game. Things aren't looking too good as Draven going up to 5-0. If I'm Draven on this next turn, I'm just looking to conquer up to 6 points. I don't want to overextend. You know, I feel like that could have been something that went wrong earlier in that game. I mean, a couple of things went wrong. Of course, the big moment there is the Bellows Breath, but let's get back to this game. It is going to be an impressive Singularity. Follow that up with the Stupefy, it looks like, as he chose the Mind Spitter to take the 6 damage.
Yeah, but don't you use Stupefy uh, on the Draven Greatest Fan to then use your Bellow Breath? Take out 2 cards. Okay. Spinning Axe. But it's got the angled shot. So if he detach the spinning axe, then the guy that just dies, which is quite funny.
That is hilarious, right? The angled shot effectively treating it as a kill spell coming down. So you were up by 3, but now you
And
equal
you
the
knew
might to
that he had that.
damage.
You knew that he had that, so you're just losing your spinning axe for free, right?
Yeah.
For 2
Perhaps
mana and an angle shot, but
I think honestly just
I
completely forgot about Angle Shot, as they didn't see him in game number 1, but a big blunder trying to have the lead if there's any moment to try to turn things around for Kai'Sa. And then sooner than later, of course, it might have been right there, because losing a big spell like that, you paid 2 energy, you still lost the unit anyways, and now you're going to lose the equipment before you can attach it. Things are not looking too good for Draven. But you are still at 5-0, so
is he
has a bit
gonna
of breathing
conquer?
room.
Gonna conquer? It's not right.
I can't believe
You know,
this
it's like
Progress Day is actually bearing fruit, because I thought that was an early Progress Day, but I guess he just had so much access to all his cards from his deck, honestly.
yeah. And you know, it's like I feel like each round is like, you know, this meme with Padme and Anakin in the field, and it's like, you're gonna conquer, right? And then you're gonna conquer, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's what Draven is saying. You're gonna conquer. You're gonna give me a free draw, right? And the answer, time and time again, from Kai'Sa has been a big fat no, leaving just 2 overzealous fan with 2 energy available. There has to be a smokescreen in hand. At the minimum, maybe 2 Hextech Rays could be feeling good to take down both of these overzealous, because it looks like we're tapping 5 for the Darius. So you're going to have to try to overtake 7 might coming at you.
Yeah. And I feel like one thing that could be clutch in this game is all the gold tokens that were generated, and now Draven has a huge rune pool, mana pool, which it usually doesn't have that many, and that's where it gets playable. But yeah, I don't know exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. That is a bit of a difference from the previous games. Of course, no token generation, but the Tide Turner coming down just to activate the Darius, coming in at 7 total energy. But it looks like he's reacting to that before the combat. This is very key, and something that XST has been very diligent about is not giving your Draven
Yeah.
any draws on the Tide Turner slash Darius activation. You retreat as a reaction speed. I love these plays from Kai'Sa.
Yeah. And now this Darius is going to take maybe another singularity, huh? That we saw in that. Good luck, Darius.
Is there another one? I mean, he has so many cards. The card economy on Kaiser's side is
We saw
something
we saw
Draven
two we saw two
envies.
from the Manchester, so I would say yes. That looks like a watcher, though, no?
Thinking back, he might have had a second watcher, but we're going to find out very shortly as Kaiser's turn goes back to her, picks up a smoke screen off the top, and look at the options, Leroy. It was a second singularity, but honestly, there's even a progress day, Bellows Breath, an angle shot, a falling star. He has
And
all the answers.
You can clear everything 3 times.
Yeah, maybe even 5 times. But we'll see. He still has to climb up, but he did it before in game one. I think he could do it one more time. Has the amount of rooms for something like a singularity, following it up by a falling star. But the only thing to be very mindful of is the potential hard bargain repeated. That's exactly 4 runes available for Draven.
Okay. Exactly, taking out this. And the falling star. And you keep your singularity.
Wow, what a more efficient playline. You keep your singularity, as you said, just a repeated Bellows Breath to do 2 damage across the back line, the
And you take
overzealous
face
and
up.
the tide turner.
Not gonna accelerate. He's never accelerate. I don't think this guy has accelerated once its case from the tournament the way he plays.
Yeah, still piloting it as well as he can. Finally pushes up to his second point. Targon's Peak to ready too. He's being very good on remembering those triggers. He didn't do so good at the end there because he knew at the end of game one, but definitely paying attention to these triggers as he's approaching the comeback or the climb back, I should say. Not as crazy as a big climb back as he had to do in game one, but still a 4-point margin nonetheless.
Did he miss one in game one? Because I know the Draven player missed one, but I don't remember.
I think Kaiser might have missed just a single one where he loaded up the battlefield, where he Bellows Breath Watcher. There was one where he put Targon's Peak, but it wouldn't have mattered either way. Draven had a single card as they're dropping the second Mind Splitter of the game. What do they want to take out? There's a lot of great hits because you take out Singularity, Progress Day could probably draw into the third one. I do think Singularity has to be the better choice here, but your unit has 7 might, so perhaps not.
Yeah, and 7 might is enough to trade with a Void Seeker or the Void Seeker or the smoke screen that has just been taken out. But maybe I would have preferred the Void Seeker because Void Seeker cycles itself.
And man, this
and
guy
look
is
at that.
top decking like a god, like a person who's destined to be in the top 64 cut tomorrow because the top deck Stupefy now allowing something like a Singularity to take down the Mind Splitter because you can't double up on a unit like you can on Falling Star, but you do 6 damage and bring that 7 might down to 6. So 6 might with 6 damage will be the card going down, of course. But something that we said he has to be careful of again is the hard bargain. It is 4 energy, so you do get the repeat value if he wants to do so. So I think that's the only thing XXT is considering here, because it seems pretty obvious if he wants to deal with the Mind Splitter.
Yeah, but looking at how valued he played since the beginning, maybe he wants to like keep it for another so that he can have 2 targets, but no, he's going to execute the Singularity. Have the Kai'Sa.
And look at the player's face, not loving it whatsoever. Hard bargain was just there as a bluff. They didn't even hint it. Didn't even have a moment of hesitation. He just completely open book saying, I don't have any counter plays. I don't even have a spinning axe for that matter.
He's already knocked out of the game mentally.
Yeah, he's mentally checked out. He said, all right, I'll go home. I'm not finding myself. There's going to be at least 15 Dravens that make top cut tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to be one of them because Kai'Sa, a formidable foe, presenting such a puzzle, such a removal presence every single turn. Singularity this turn, Singularity a previous couple turns ago, Bellows Breath the turn before that. It's just too much removal for Draven to handle.
The Brainier is completely useless unless he has an Accelerate, but
Okay.
reacting.
Maybe trying to play around ride the wind strategy. Wants to
Yeah.
literally negate any kind of combat wins because he can at least go after the Raven Bloom if he didn't use the smoke screen right there. So does get the smoke screen off. So Brynjar's gonna be swinging it at 1 if he does invest like a smoke screen or a ride the wind, I should say. But things are just not looking up for Draven as Kaiser most likely holds up to 6 points, and then you can retreat maybe. Actually, this is tricky. You're forced to hold here, no?
I mean, you're forced to hold at least one battlefield, but you've got enough. You got the below breath to remove because he drew another below breath, so you can just remove uh the the the, the, the Titaner.
Yeah, and only allow one of those, only allow one unit to push one battlefield and AKA scoring. Actually, you're only at 6. You need to hold both if you want to win on the very next turn. So
Yeah,
most likely you're trying to take out
he's
both
got a
of
smoke
these.
screen. He's got a smoke screen. He's got 2 Void Seeker. Good luck. Good luck, my friend. Yeah, below breath. And yeah, he's going to below breath the 2 cards and then smoke screen and kill everything.
I don't think I saw the smoke screen, but if he does have the smoke screen, that's going to be the best ideal play for the situation. But do you see the smoke screen? Because I think I only saw 2 Raven Blooms. I'm
Yeah,
not seeing it.
yeah, father, so one, and there's no smoke screen. Yeah, no, there's no smoke screen. I thought I saw one. So yeah, you just have the Void Seeker to trade the Brynjar next turn. Although another Brynjar could maybe a top deck Brynjar into uh, Ride the Wind could have him be in a weird situation.
Yeah, let's see. So deciding that he doesn't want to prioritize holding both battlefields and forget about that, Leroy. He's going to say, you know what? I want to give you 0 draws. Try to conquer both of these. I need you to top deck a Darius. I need you to top deck a Kaiser Survivor, because in a world where you don't top deck an accelerated option, this is my game to win in a 2-0 swing of things. A ride the win is a way to get there. Wait a
Wait,
second, but a
is
double
there a
Void
hard
Seeker.
bargain also? Because if there's also a hard bargain, Draven wins.
I don't think there was, Leroy. That this was a risky play, but a bit of a calculated risk from Kaiser. As you said, if there's a hard bargain on the final Void Seeker, that would be all she wrote. As the ride the win would be able to get the job done, but that's gonna be 4 damage. And he wishes he could keep it simple like a stupefy, but having to force every single rune remaining doing the 4
Oh,
damage, and that should be GG. I don't think there's anything left in Draven's hand. I saw a falling star, and that has to be the only card it looks like.
yeah, because we saw Ride the Wind, so if
Oh
there's
yeah,
no
ride the wind, falling star. Those are the final 2 options, and that is GG, folks. Well played. I have never seen someone handle Draven as effectively as what we just
But wait,
witnessed
if he used
XXT
Falling
do it.
Star, wait, if he used Falling Star on both, oh no, because there were already 2 spell played. Okay. GG, guys.